Hey, welcome back, everybody. You're listening to Ultimate Affiliate Marketing. I am your host, as always. It's Paul Motley here. And today, special guest, we have the co-creator of SamCart. It's Scott Moran. Scott, how you doing, man?
Good morning. Yeah, appreciate it. No, doing well. It's been a really busy time here for us over here in our office over in the States, but I'm sure we'll get into that. But yeah, no, happy to be here.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So if people didn't know, what is SamCart and how did it come about? You know, what was the sort of like, where did it all come from?
Yeah, very good question. So SamCart is the e-commerce platform for direct-to-consumer brands, and I'll just break that down what that means. Essentially, we are the tool for people who sell one product at a time. That's basically what we're talking about here. Instead of people who don't need some massive Shopify storefront because they have 8,000 SKUs, and people who want to sell something very, very simply in terms of ditching these big multi-step complex marketing funnels that are out there that basically never get done and just kind of keep people on the ground. SamCart is the tool for selling very simply one product at a time, very easily doing things that help people convert more customers, to maximize customer value, all those kind of awesome things that we know take businesses from the ground to 6-7 figures, but to do them really, really simply. And so that's exactly why SamCart was built. When we built SamCart's beta in 2014, myself and my brother, we were doing the online thing. We'd had 2 or 3 different kind of really successful hit brands that all of them were selling at the time digital content. And so we needed a really, really easy way to do crazy world-breaking things, right? We needed to know our numbers. We needed to maximize order value, these things that are really, really foundational to succeeding online. And the tools to do them were way too simple and couldn't do it. Things like just PayPal, or they were way too complex. Things like Infusionsoft and, these big complex tools that basically required someone who was a techie person, you know what I mean? We had to call developer friends to do monthly sales, right? If we ever wanted to intro a new product and do all kind of stuff. And so we built SamCart to kind of bring the advanced stuff back down to the level of the average everyday business owner, the 1, 2, or 3 man, woman operations that don't have some budget, don't have space in their budget to go hire developers, that don't have time and energy to go learn, crazy big platforms that are just going to slow everybody down. So yeah, over time, SamCart has certainly evolved into what it is today, which is basically the way that we kind of saw our users starting to use our platform over the last maybe 3 or 4 years here, is they started to create these sort of one-page experiences. They're going to take a product, they're going to put it on one page, they're going to talk about it, showcase it, explain the benefits, all this kind of stuff. And then, of course, what SamCart does best is the e-commerce side, is the payment side, is accepting your payment, maximizing order value, managing customer lifetime value over time, and all these kind of awesome things, in the days and months and everything after someone makes a sale. But it's all on this one page. And so anyway, we really started to see this trend. We've really leaned into that, and SamCart customers are crushing it. I mean, in general, we have now served well over 10,000 businesses. They've sold $1.5 billion of their own stuff, products, physical goods, digital stuff, content, training, nonprofits. So we have one guy who does adventure bird watching vacation packages. It's crazy. I mean, so it's really been fun, a lot of fun to watch this kind of thing grow, watch people kind of lean into this whole simplicity thing. SamCart is simplicity, is bringing, kind of the really complex stuff down to the average everyday person. So anyway, that's the long-winded way of saying, what is SamCart and how is it here and how do we get where we are?
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And you broke it down real well there as well. I mean, one of the things I noticed, many years ago, to even try and sell something online was hugely difficult because, you needed to get merchant accounts from your banks and do all sorts of crazy stuff. And the obstacles that were in the way was crazy. And I personally came across SamCart a number of years ago. And what I found was it was incredibly easy and simple to get something up online and instantly people could buy it, so, the route to market just became so much easier. And I'm guessing that's probably where you wanted to go with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously has been a humongous reason for SamCart's success, and it makes sense, right? I mean, obviously in a time where things have just seemingly gotten more and more complex, every time you need to introduce a new product or start a new brand or, do all these things, the laundry list that people provide to you, you know what I mean? In terms of, oh, cool, you want to do that? Here's what you have to do. And they drop this stack of this humongous task list, you know what I mean? You need to go create your website, you need to go write a 3-hour webinar, and you need to go do page after page after page. And there's all this, just crazy complex automations, and, it's nuts. And
Yeah.
essentially our pitch is you don't need to do those things. You know what I mean? Like you said, the path from having an idea to bringing it to market and finding out if it's worth its weight in gold. You know what I mean? If it's something that's going to sell, should be as simple as create a page, showcase it, and let people buy. I mean, that's essentially what we're doing here. And I think that's why our success is what it is that's resonated with people. And then of course, having the features that help people, once you kind of get to that point and figure out, okay, cool. Wow. Somebody bought, how do you go from my first sale to passing 6 figures in income in a year? That on-ramp of features is, and making that easy and making it accessible to anybody without, having a developer sitting next to them or that kind of thing is I think, again, what has helped SamCart become home to over 1,000 people who have made 6 figures, or I'm sorry, over 1,000 people have made 7 figures online.
Wow, that's incredible. And I just want to point out as well, another thing that I've always noticed this is that I can sort of like tell if I'm on a cart page which is built on SamCart, because they're just so smooth. It just looks really good, and that was one thing that I really love about the fact that, when you come to buying a product, you want to have that feeling of trust. You want to see that feeling of professionalism and easiness to take you through the sale. And that is one of the things that I think that SamCart probably stands out against almost anything out there on the market right now, is the fact that it just looks so great, right? And I'm not bigging you up because we're here talking. This is this is something that I've looked and observed and been fascinated with for a long time, because ultimately, if you're selling anything, you want to make it as easy as possible for people to purchase, right? They kind of make sense. And I love the fact that you guys actually include some templates inside of SamCart as well to shorten the journey to market even more so as well. And you've got some great templates there from like top earners, and it's like, this person has made X amount, here's the template, and it just makes it so much easier.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Obviously, you're talking about an audience of people who understand affiliate marketing. I'm sure most people understand the idea that when you land on a page that's built with some other tools, you get the same reaction, but in kind of a negative light, right? I think we've all landed on pages and been like, oh, this is built with, X, Y, Z. So I'm glad to hear that you're having the positive side of that experience. And we certainly take a lot of time and effort to make sure that pages load as fast as they can. You know what I mean? I mean, there's the kind of thing where we are creating a software platform, where we want to be more like the Shopify's of the world, than not. And so, that's exactly right. And then of course, in terms of the templates and the designs and stuff, another hit the nail on the head. We take a lot of time and effort to make sure that the sort of templates that we're providing are pre-built, pre-made, pre-written, so that people are going in and literally just kind of changing. I'm going to take the picture of my product and throw it in here. I'm going to take my, free gifts. I'm going to take my, story, and just replacing text, replacing images, rather than kind of building from scratch. And so, those templates are a humongous hit. A lot of them are built on, based on things that we know work in the real world, and that really shines through. So yeah, definitely, I'm glad to hear that you feel the same way about them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And sometimes it's been a case for me personally when I've needed to sell something and someone just wants to buy it right then. And instead of scratching around, I can, and it is literally minutes, because everything's all set up, ready to go. I can just like plonk it straight on there, send them the link, and I can get paid, literally from having that conversation with someone saying, yeah, I really want to buy what you've got. And if I don't have it set up right there and then, I can do it within 10, 15 minutes and the purchase comes back. It's incredible. And, you guys got to take a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, one of my favorite things, I've been talking with a lot of customers just kind of recently as we're leading up to a big promotion we got going on right now. But I was talking with a number of different customers who are all kind of like agencies or really just service-based businesses. And one of my favorite things I keep hearing is that people are like, I'm on the phone, or somebody on my team's on the phone with a client, we're trying to close a prospect into something, is that they will, while they're on the phone, spin up a new page, customize to that customer. And then by the time the conversation comes around to, hey, would you like to buy? It's literally like, let me send you this link, and it's got their name and their image, just customized kind of to them. And what a cool buying experience that is. I love to think that SamCart's that simple, that on the fly, someone is spinning up a customized product with a customized price, a customized subscription, right, for the customer they're on the phone with right at that time. And so, yeah, that's kind of a cool little, like, just, a cool little case study in terms of, that it is that simple. It is that quick. And yeah, I mean, payments shouldn't be hard. If accepting money from people is the most bedrock foundational thing that every business on the planet has to be able to do. And it needs to be smooth. You got to be able to do it quick, and you got to be able to let your customers come to a page and pay you money. And that process is so critical. And it's bonkers that here we are in 2020, and that some other platforms out there that literally just put hurdles in people's way to give you money, right? We hear it over and over and over again. Other people coming to us and saying, oh man, I was on platform X, I was on platform Y, and I just keep having people that have trouble paying me. And it's like, that seems so backwards to me, right? SamCart should be the opposite of that. As smooth as we possibly can make it, as quick of a process we possibly can make it for you guys.
Yeah. And what you've just explained there is an experience that I've had myself as well. Literally being able to talking to someone on Messenger or even on the phone at the time. And I'm trying to think of a specific example. I think I was going to help someone run some ads for them. Basically, I was going to take over part of their marketing, and we were discussing price and all that. And while, I've got my phone literally resting on the side of my shoulder, I'm setting it up on SamCart. I've added his, a snapshot of his website onto the page so he can see it. I put his name, I put the amount, everything like that. And I said, I'm just sending you the payment page now. And even during that conversation, it was like, oh yeah, I've got it. I'll just fill that out. And like 5 minutes later, it's there. And that's how simple it should be. And I didn't have to spend ages trying to set up and I know it sounds awful now because I'm a funnel guy, right? I build a lot of funnels and stuff, but sometimes
and that's fine. We always like
sometimes
tell people,
it can be frustrating.
Kind of add in later. Yeah. It's like,
because you can't do that that level of individualism that fast. And that's an experience that I've had with SamCart, and I think a lot of other people can probably relate to it as well. So, it's super cool, man.
Yeah. And literally just this week, we just added a new thing where you're saving pages as templates, right? So you're gonna be able to save your own, if you go and make that page for that client, you're going to save that as a template. The next time you're on the phone, it'll be even easier. You just pop it open, pick a template, swap in a new image and send it out again. It'll be even faster for you next time.
Incredible. So let's talk, Scott. So there is something going on right now. You guys are having a huge promotion. So do you want to sort of like explain what's going on with that and how people can get involved?
Yeah, definitely. If I look super tired, it's because I'm super tired, and it's been a really, really crazy couple of weeks for us. But no, just yesterday, the 19th, we released a brand new 4-part training series called The New Way to Sell. And basically the short version is that in 2020, e-commerce is just wildly different. So if you're still kind of treating it like you were in 2015, right, 2016, then you're potentially missing a humongous boat. And so essentially e-commerce and the trends that we see kind of like on a macro level, I mean, we're talking just, take your internet business, kind of cap off or whatever, and just kind of think about your own world and how you're buying things now. I mean, like, everything's done on your phone, everything's done quickly, everything's saved credit cards, everything's like, you can buy whatever you want by looking at your phone now. Like, that's wild, but you have these massive brands that are doing nothing but just investing and making buying easier. And so if we're not doing the same things, right? If we are not making it easy for customers to buy us, if we're not streamlining our processes, if we're not removing hurdles like we've been talking about the whole time, then you're missing out a huge trend. And so basically what we're here talking about is the enormous trend that we see from people who are simplifying their buying process. And how do we do that? How functionally do we make that happen? It's more than just kind of like fluffy, airy conjecture. We're really kind of grounding what we're talking about in the really specific data that we see coming out of SamCart's database. So like I said, 10,000 businesses sold over $1.5 billion of their own stuff on our platform. Do the math. That number per customer is massive. Our average customers are making 2 to 4 times what the average Shopify user is doing, or, for your markets can understand, I think it's like 4 or 5 times the average ClickFunnels user, which of course they're huge, right? You're talking, they have 100,000 customers to our 10,000, but on average, our customers just win. They are selling. The proof is there. That's all I'm saying. The proof is right there. And so we get to watch what they're doing, right? And we get to watch those who are successful. We get to watch, customers who are doing 8 figures a month. I mean, we have some just humongous people doing things on SamCart. So anyway, all that to say is that we are basically taking all the data that SamCart tells us, which is SamCart's database is the largest single kind of spot for conversion data on the internet, or there's nobody else that's sharing information from one spot that's quite that big. And yeah, no, we just have a bunch of really kind of actionable things for you guys to check out. Paul, I'm sure you're going to have your own link and stuff like that. Obviously, as a SamCart user, I think you're referring, and that's awesome. So we love hearing that, of course. But yeah, no, that's essentially what's going on. This training series, it's been up for about not even 24 hours here at this point. I think it's been viewed by 6,000 people, 62,000 or 6,200 or something like that people. So anyway, so obviously we're hitting the right notes. So people are excited. I'm glad people are enjoying it because those videos have completely dominated my life for the last couple of weeks, but we're really, really excited about it. Obviously it's leading up to a special promotion that we have coming up at the end of the month where we're going to give, make a crazy awesome special offer for SamCart. So that's there too. But of course the free training is wonderful. It is absolutely 100% a must watch regardless of how and where you're kind of processing your payments. But of course, we're going to make a big push for SamCart for you guys to join as well, which is cool. But definitely check that out. Called The New Way to Sell, and the 4-part training is crazy. I mean, I'm sure we can kind of do some, teaser specifics if you want, but that's kind of the high level of what's going on.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to hear more about what specifically people are going to learn through the free video series, because obviously, yeah, I mean, there's a ton of information that people can get. And the thing is with the internet, that you can go all over the place to find information, but actually going to the source and finding something specific is sometimes really, really time consuming. And that's why I thought the whole training series and the video series that is just coming out right now, and for those that are either watching or listening, there's going to be links in the description. So go and get into that anyway, because it's super important that you do sort of again, make your learning experience much simpler and cleaner, because you're going to go right to the source. And as Scott just said there, even just getting the numbers from what you guys are actually doing and what you're seeing, it makes a huge difference. Because if you're in the market for having something online and you want to sell it, you want to know that you're using the best platform to get the sales. Because like you say, I mean, versus, if we look at SamCart versus Shopify, for example, I mean, people's conversion rates on Shopify is woefully bad. And, I don't want to knock Shopify because there's tons of people absolutely crushing it.
Yeah, but that's also kind of an open secret. Yeah.
Yeah. And it is. I think the last time I checked, it was like 1.9% conversion rate on average, which, some people will do immensely well. Some people will not so well. And that's why the average is low. But you guys actually share what users are doing through SamCart itself, which I think is extremely open. And like I said, it's clear and concise, and it's part of a buying decision for people, especially if they are trying to get things online, because, you kind of want to really give yourself the best advantage. And I think even running a business, you have to accept there are certain running expenses for your business. No one can expect to do everything for free. You need tools. You need email, service provider. You need something to actually run the sales part of it as well. And I think that's why just making SamCart so easy, simple, and beautiful to even look at is such a great thing. But I'm just rambling now because I'm just like having a fanboy moment. Okay. Right. So anyway, so just dig down into what people are going to expect from the actual free series, the video series coming up.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll just drop like 2 kind of quick stats out there as 2 of my favorite things. So one of my favorite things on the planet is we talk about simplifying the checkout process. Well, what does that mean functionally? You know what I mean? So I think everyone can kind of logically understand that when you take what you're asking your customers to fill out when they buy from you, right, and you shorten that process, that you're likely going to boost conversion, right? That kind of logically makes sense. We all kind of know those kind of things, but the numbers are wild. So one of my favorite things out there is, of course, inside of SamCart. I can't speak to how this, it might work for your guys' things, but it is unbelievably, incredibly critical for everyone listening, everybody watching right now, right? That if you have a field, and I mean like a single input, right, on your checkout process, your checkout flow right now, that is not necessary, that you're not doing anything with, it has got to go. And so let me just paint this picture for you, right? So a lot of people out there right now, of course, you go to different pages, they're going to have what? Name, first name, last name, email, maybe, like email confirmation, things like that, phone number, maybe they have a billing address, maybe they just ask for zip code, maybe they have shipping, things, whatever, right? But people don't really think about these things. And a lot of tools don't let you customize what's there. You know what I mean? They can't let you turn certain things off. I don't really need billing, or I don't really need zipping, or the zip code, things like that, right? Which, by the way, what is that called over in the UK? It's not called the zip code, isn't it?
That's called
Isn't
a postcode.
Postcode, that's the one. I always forget about that. Anyway, so the postcode, right? For anybody who's listening over there across the pond. But the numbers are absolutely staggering. Is that we looking at the numbers in terms of just shortening that checkout process. If you just get down to name, email, phone number, right? Just name, email, phone number. If you can squish it down to those four and then their payment information, right? Versus adding one extra thing, adding an email confirmation and adding maybe just billing information, right? Just that one change, just take it a little bit shorter or at that. It is 35.1% higher conversion.
Wow.
35.1%. It is a third boost to your sales just by getting rid of that one thing. It is absolutely staggering. I mean, those numbers are incredibly high.
Yeah, that's crazy, because if people think about the numbers there, you could go from doing 10,000 a month to 13,000 a month just by making that one change, or even if you're only doing like 1,000 a month, suddenly you can get to 1,300 a month. And especially if you're spending money on ads, that could mean the difference between profit and loss right there.
That is probably your biggest single point. Yeah. For anyone out there who is running paid advertising, and we understand that ROI and ROAS, right, return on ad spend, is like incredibly, incredibly important, and 1-2 percentage points can make the difference. Those are the kind of changes that if you're currently right now using a system that doesn't let you control those kind of things, and tout SamCart till the cows come home, right? For us, it's literally a single checkbox for these kind of things. You're just tick, 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 right? Then you are completely missing out. If there's somebody who's forcing something else on you, forcing, one of the huge things out there right now is like forcing people to log in. I mean, that's like arcane, right? But if you're currently right now using something that's going to force people to log in before they buy from you, and they go through password reset and they do whatever, I mean, you might as well just hack off your leg. You're completely capping your own upside. And so, no, that's a really, really big one.
Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, again, it's just making it easier, the process, helping them through the sale as quickly and neatly and, as easy as possible, basically.
Absolutely.
So getting back to the theories, who is it ideal for, and what do you think for them is going to be the biggest takeaway from it?
Yeah, that's a good question. So in terms of who it's ideal for, I would say anybody selling digital products, of course, absolutely ideal. Service-based businesses, I mean, we have people all over the board. I mean, people who mow people's lawns, right? And then we have people, of course, who are doing things like building websites and running ads and, whatever, all those kind of things with billing your clients with subscriptions. I mean, it's just really, really, really kind of a sweet spot. For physical product people who do not have a massive catalog, right? We have this huge contingent, of course, of people jumping on SamCart who are physical product owners, but they own one thing. You know what I mean? We have this one guy, of course, one of my favorite examples. He owns an ice tray that is specific for whiskey drinkers, right? And so it makes these beautiful clear ice cube, like ball spheres.
I'm interested. Carry on. Yeah.
And look super dope, right? They look awesome. But anyway, so for him, he was on Shopify, right? But he was like, I really don't need a storefront. I don't need to release people into this whole big, huge, unfocused world. I really just have one product, and he runs paid advertising. So he needs to know that, his conversions are as high as he can. He needs to know his return on ad spend. He needs to use one-click upsells, which of course is not something native to Shopify. But he comes on, he makes a page on SamCart, he showcases his one product, and he's crushing it. I had a great interview with him. It's over actually on our YouTube channel if anyone wants to check it out. But so for physical product owners who don't have this massive storefront, want to simplify it down. And that's really the best part is that, like we talk about it in the new way to sell, is that this is not like some brand new huge idea, honestly. You know what I mean? What we're essentially doing here is we are cutting away all of the nonsense of how people sell. And this is not specific to how you sell online. This is just how people sell things. You know what I mean? If you do 1, 2, 3, 4 while you're having a conversation with somebody, you're pretty likely to turn them into a customer. And so we're basically just saying, let's take that process, cut away all the unnecessary stuff that is just bogging people down and creating a bunch of half-finished businesses. You know what I mean? Help you get to the finish line by simplifying it down to one page. And I think that's the biggest takeaway. I think the biggest takeaway is the freedom and the relief of knowing that, like, okay, listen, like, we don't need to do, you know, all these crazy complex things. Again, that how many, I think everybody listening, one of my favorite questions I love asking is, how many people out there have like half finished ideas that never got off the ground and never saw the light of day because you just kind of never finished it? Like, I know I do. You know what I mean? You get a lot of guilty hand raises in terms of people who are like, yeah, I had this really, really awesome idea I was really psyched about one time 2 years ago, but I never got off the ground because I never finished at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, that to-do list that we talked about earlier.
Yeah. Totally understand that. And yeah, and it's really cool. Just even thinking about it now, you know, there's probably a ton of stuff that I just haven't got out there because it either became difficult or I just forgot, or, you know, it was just, it wasn't as simple as I wanted it to be, and it needed more time and everything else that went with it. So the series is on at the moment. So how long is that going to be available for people to see?
Yeah, so what's today is the 20th, right? So this free training series is going to be available till the 26th. We'll probably find a way to bring it back. But really, right now, I mean, I would say, you know, if you're going for things right now, it is now through the 26th is your opportunity to go watch, to go check it out. It's 4 parts, 4 videos. It's almost 45 minutes in length. So it's in depth, and it's got real stuff in there for you guys to take action on, you know, whether SamCart's right for you or not. So it is a no-brainer. Absolutely go check it out. And yeah, I'm sure, Paul, you can tell them more specifics about how you want them to go get there.
Yeah, totally, man. Totally. I mean, at the end of the day, this is not fake scarcity here. The series is only on right now. So people do need to go and check it out and get, you know, access to it straight away. I'm sure, Scott, yeah, there may be a time when it's reinvented or re-released later on, but people got to grab the ball by the horns when they get this opportunity to get this level of transparency and training when it's available, because ultimately that's, you know, it's going to help your business right now, and it could help your business for many years and months, you know, months or years to come. So that's what I would do, is I would plug into the actual free series right now, and it's going to be available, like I said, around this video, or if you're listening on the podcast, then obviously there's going to be links in the show notes there, but make sure you do go ahead and get that. And as far as SamCart goes, that's not going anywhere. So, you know, at any point, even if you're watching or listening to this after the 26th of August, you know, you can still go and get a ton of really good information directly from SamCart. And obviously you can grab yourself an account if that is what you want to do. So yeah, I mean, it's all good, man.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, no, definitely SamCart's not going anywhere, but certainly, yeah, this training that we're talking about right now, it is super timely. And one of my biggest things I like to say is, you know, it's every day that you don't do these kind of things, you're missing out on free money. And so we have a bunch of really awesome, you know, customer stories to share with you guys, a bunch of really actionable things to go take, you know, to do today, you know what I mean? To get moving and do these kind of things and implement. And yeah, I can guarantee you that going through that and taking action on some of those things, whether you're using SamCart or not, right, is going to be a boost to you guys big time immediately right now. So definitely go check it out.
Yeah, no, that's certainly right. And you guys have got some seriously big names using the platform as well. I mean, first one that I noticed really was a guy that I've been following for a long time, is James Wedmore. You know, and you know, there's a whole bunch of people on there. So people will, I don't know, it's kind of like a crowd attracts a crowd sometimes. You know, people want to see these, you know, people that are really crushing it online and seeing how they're doing it, because ultimately then they think, okay, right, well, if they're using it, it must be good, right? So you guys must have a like a little mini celebrity list of users, and you like.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun, honestly, like getting to watch those kind of things. But, you know, at the end of the day, it makes sense. I mean, like it's funny. We are beset with tools that are all in ones, right? I mean, that's the hotness right now, right? Is all of a sudden everything's all in one. But really, I don't want SamCart to ever be an all in one. I want SamCart to be the best 100% at the e-commerce side of everyone's business. You know what I mean? In taking orders, maximizing customer value, and like helping you drive, you know, those kind of things again and again, drive repeat business over time. And yeah, I mean, when you have people out there who understand and know, I mean, people like James and people like Pat Flynn and, kind of the, again, a laundry list of people here kind of in the internet marketing world. And then of course, even bigger, we have a number of people who've been on Shark Tank that are using SamCart and, some of these kind of like other brands in the much larger kind of like real world as well. But yeah, I mean, when you understand sales, when you're at that level and you're doing that level of volume, you understand how important it is to have the tools to grow that, you know what I mean? And to use the best tools out there for something. So, instead of, you're exactly right. A crowd begets a crowd. And certainly, one of our biggest drivers is word of mouth amongst people who make a decent chunk of money. I mean, you know what I mean? Because I think as you get to a point, processing and sales and bring those things in, bring those customers in smoothly, maximizing their value. I mean, I sound like a broken record, right? But all those things become so important. And so, yeah, it makes sense. And we see it all the time is that when people get to a certain level, they think, wow, I really need to get serious about how I'm taking my payments. And yeah, that's SamCart. So that's what we're here to do.
Yeah. And ultimately, if you can increase or help the actual return on investment that people are making and make it easier for people, then obviously it becomes an easier choice, doesn't it? So that's where
absolutely, yeah, every time.
Cool, man. Listen, Scott, it's been absolutely fantastic having you on. For those of you that are watching this, there's going to be some links in the description. For those of you that are on the podcast, make sure you go to the show notes because everything will be in there. The whole promotion is going to be running for a couple of weeks. And of course, if you're really nice and kind, then I might even throw in some bonuses myself. So if you're watching this on a repeat, then make sure you do check out the descriptions and everything to make sure you can get in and get some really cool stuff directly from me as well. Scott, once again, it's been awesome, man. I've really had a blast.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Paul. Really appreciate it.